Hi children. Today we'll discuss ionization of acids and bases. Generally acids and bases are contains only ionic or polar type of bonds. So when you dissolve acid or base in water, it will undergo ionize. Here for example, if you dissolve acid in water, here that acid is Ha and you will get protons and anions. If you dissolve base in water, here that base is BOH, you will get cations and hydroxyl ions. So this is ionization or dissociation of acids and bases. Now we'll see extent of ionization or degree of ionization. Here you have a one dissociation reaction. Initially you have a 100 Ha molecules. In this 100, 20 molecules are dissociated and you will get 20 H plus and 20 A minus ions. So now what is mean by degree of ionization? You have a formula for this degree of ionization. That is, degree of ionization is equal to number of molecules ionized by number of molecules taken. Here 20 molecules are ionized out of 100 molecules. Now if you substitute that values in this equation, you will get degree of ionization is equal to 20 by 100, that is equal to 0.2. Here this 0.2 is degree of ionization. Next, percentage of ionization is equal to degree of ionization into 100. If you multiply 100 with the degree of ionization, you will get percentage of ionization. For this above reaction, percentage of ionization is equal to 0.2 into 100, that is equal to 20%. Now we'll discuss strong and weak electrolytes. All acids and all bases do not undergo same extent of ionization. So for example, it depends on polarity of the bond. If you take HX is a acid, it depends on the bond between H and X. If you take base, BOH is a base, it depends on the bond between B and OH. If the extent of ionization is large, that is strong electrolyte. If the extent of ionization is less, that is weak electrolyte. So generally this extent of ionization depends on the concentration of solution of the substance. Now we'll discuss Ostwald's dilution law. So generally strong electrolytes are undergo complete ionization. Since weak electrolytes are not completely dissociated, there exists an equilibrium between the ions and undissociated molecules of the electrolyte. This equilibrium is called ionic equilibrium. Here, if you observe one reaction, this is a weak electrolyte dissociation reaction. Here Ha is a weak electrolyte and it is dissociating to H plus and A minus. For this reaction, if you write dissociation constant K is equal to product of concentration of products by concentration of reactant. Here K is equilibrium constant and H plus is concentration of proton and A minus is equal to concentration of anion. Equilibrium constant K is constant at constant temperature. If you change the temperature, then only that equilibrium constant will change. Otherwise, it is constant for particular reaction at particular temperature. Now we'll discuss Ostwald's dilution law derivation. Here you have a weak acid dissociation reaction. So initially if you have a C concentration of weak acid and there is no dissociated ions, at equilibrium C alpha molecules of weak acid dissociates and you will get C alpha H plus and C alpha A minus ions. At equilibrium, if you write a equilibrium constant K is equal to concentration of H plus and A minus by concentration of HA. You know that H plus and A minus values at equilibrium, those are C alphas. So if you substitute that, you will get C alpha into C alpha by C into 1 minus alpha. If you simplify this, you will get C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. However, if 1 mole of electrolyte is dissolved in water, which is 1 liter, and the concentration C is equal to 1 by V. If you substitute that C value in the above equation, you will get Ka is equal to alpha square by 1 minus alpha into V. In case of dissociation, alpha is very small. In case of weak electrolytes, then 1 minus alpha will become nearly equal to unity. So it means alpha is very small. Then 1 minus alpha will be is equal to, you can consider as a 1. You can neglect that 1 minus alpha value. Then the Ka is equal to, you will get the alpha square or alpha square by V. If you separate alpha value, that is degree of dissociation, alpha is equal to, you will get square root of Ka by C or square root V Ka. Here C is the concentration and V is the dilution. Alpha is the degree of dissociation. If you observe this equation, degree of dissociation is inversely proportional to square root of concentration and directly proportional to square root of dilution. So it means if you increase the concentration, the degree of dissociation increases. If you increase the dilution, the degree of dissociation increases. So this is for weak electrolytes. So on dilution, the degree of dissociation increases. Now we'll discuss importance of Ostwald's dilution law. So now the first importance, it is useful in the calculation of the dissociation constant K of the weak acids and weak bases by determining degree of dissociation. So if you know the degree of dissociation, and you can calculate the dissociation constant K, and knowing the value of K, which is constant for a particular weak acid or weak base at a particular temperature, the degree of dissociation of weak acid or weak base can be calculated at any concentration. So it means if you know the K value and concentration, then you can calculate the degree of dissociation. Now we'll discuss limitations of Ostwald's dilution law. So the first limitation is the value of K is constant only for weak electrolytes. When the concentration of solution is not too high, that is for dilute solutions only. It means the K values is we are getting constant if you take the electrolyte concentration different concentrations, but the concentration should be very low and you will get K value is same at any concentration. This is for weak electrolytes, and the value K is not constant for strong electrolytes like HCl, KOH, KCl. So it means the K value we are getting different for different concentrations of strong electrolytes. So it means it is not applicable for strong electrolytes. Ostwald dilution law is only for weak electrolytes. Thank you.